Hello, it's me again. And I'm sorry, I have to do this video because I must have commented on something because there's if you put Guyana and racism either on YouTube or Facebook, there's a lot that comes up. Plus going back into history and my mom being that she was a teacher, I had to I had to know a lot and study a lot. So I know about history quite a bit actually. I love history. History with various countries. I just love studying history as well. Um I will have to show you the comment that I received and this person's response back to me. I believe that if you have open communication, you can also resolve problems. But in order to have open communication, the person you're speaking to also has to be willing to have a thought process. If that person doesn't have a thought process, I'm sorry, there's nothing you can do to change it. Now, I believe that for a country, well, it's people to be stronger, they have to come together. But to have to come together, sometimes they have to have some understandings how they're stronger as one and not separate. Anyways, here we go.
Okay, so I did find it. I guess I had responded to this video. Um, as you can see, it says Indian Guyanese are getting unbearable. Black woman calls out racist Indian for racial profiling. Well, here's the problem, it's just not one group. That's honestly, you can't call out someone when the other group is equally uh, to blame. You know, if you want to end racism, you have to address the problem on all sides, period. So keep in mind, there is already, if you put Guyana racism, you'll get already a couple of Guyanese who are speaking about the racism that, is in Guyana and began ages ago, back in the Burnham era. I'm not going to go through about the history of that right now, but she wrote to me or commented to me that she grew up in Guyana. She said, born there and black and Indians in Guyana. One time she puts eat out of each other pot. She goes, now I'm hearing about all the racism and it hurts. Everyone grew up together, all races. So she is saying that there wasn't racism before in Guyana. So as you can see, she goes to me, what ridiculous about my comment. I said Indians and blacks got along. The separation started as of late, so meaning recently. Read, she goes, understand, and then respond. And then she goes, what with some of you? Well, she should do the same thing. She should, because I'll tell you what I wrote to her, but let's do this one point at a time. Once again, she had written here, one of her comments to me was, let's see. She goes, "What ridiculous about my comment?" Sorry, it's her. I'm just reading what it says. I said Indians and blacks got along. That separation, again, she says, started as of late. She goes, read and understand and then respond. What, with some of you? She should think, look in the mirror. So my reply back to her was, you should take your own advice as of late. When as of late, the Burnham era really started it. So stop trying to make it recently. That's ridiculous. I did go on and I'll read it out. The tension between Afro Guyanese, Black, and Indo Guyanese Indian communities in Guyana didn't start from one single moment. It developed over time, mainly during the colonial period, and then it intensified through politics. Um, you can see what I wrote here. And I mean, I'll let anyone slow it down if they really want to read it. But I did write because there is, like I said, it didn't start overnight. And with what I've said in previous videos, my family has experienced it. And like many others, that's why in the 60s and 70s, they left Guyana. But like I said, you can slow it down and you can read what I wrote here, and I've done a screenshot here first for you. Now, after I gave her the breakdown with the history to show her that it isn't something that just started, it's something that has grown into Guyana, all in her great educated background. She comes up with, you know nothing, get lost, who called you? I am not, it goes in my mind, I won't even say it there. But, so once again, no, I didn't grow up in Guyana, but my parents did. And like I said, the history of why my parents and their families, my family, had to leave, and the stories of many others on, Facebook, when you do a search for it, there's so many. And unless that woman who says there wasn't racism in Guyana till recently was living under a rock or is in just denial, it has to be faced to be conquered. I mean, who benefits from your division? Historically, ethnic division in Guyana, especially between Afro Guyanese and Indo Guyanese communities, didn't just happen randomly. It has roots going back to colonial systems and also at the end of slavery. When the British Empire brought indentured laborers from India, and I'm going to add in China and also Portugal, these groups were often kept socially and economically separated. In modern times, political parties have often aligned along ethnic lines. That doesn't mean all politicians intentionally divide people, but it does mean that division can become politically useful to them. When people vote based on race instead of policies, loyalty becomes predictable. Accountability, it weakens. Leaders don't have to serve everybody equally. So division tends to benefit political power structures more than the ordinary regular people. And yes, when you look throughout history, it shows it that people are stronger united. When citizens unite across race, governments are forced to complete on ideals, not identity. Corruption becomes harder to hide. Economic growth benefits more people. A divided population is easier to control. A united population, now, on the other hand, is harder to ignore. So Guyanese people are absolutely would be stronger when they act together rather than, acting separate as separate racial blocks.
China is a problem, and many people use this to their advantage. But when we talk about racism, we tend to see it remote and far away from us. But am I racist? The moment we start to categorize groups and place them on a scale that says they are better than us or we are better than them, we're guilty. All of them stay so. It's a pack of hooligans, pack of bullies. A good one is a dead one. That is how they stay. We gotta look after we own. It's we time. Y'all just make bad for yourself. Addressing this national problem of racism begins with me. It begins with you. We have to start to think different, act differently, see all Guyanese as humans. One people, one nation, with one destiny. As Guyanese, let us love one another. Everyone that loveth is born of God and knows God, because God is love.
Talk about how time flies, but I am pretty sure, sadly, both of my parents are gone. My dad died 91 last year. My mom 86, about what, almost 4 years ago. And after they grew up, born there and grew up there in Guyana, and they had a lot of great memories. Sadly, as I stated before in past videos, why they had to leave. But I'm sure they would be really sad to know that what went on in the past still carries on true today to the population there, and that they can't come together as one. I mean, what culture do they share? Do they know the difference between culture and race? I'm pretty sure if they got together and talked as just as human beings together, they would really realize how much more they have in common than what they have in differences. Well, it may be true. You know, some may say it's hopeless that you can't help people see and become one and realize their common bond. But you know what? You should never stop trying. Anyways, one YouTuber said to me, and they're a travel YouTuber. I know they were, they travel around the globe, and they were sponsored by Guyana Tourism. That, well, they never saw racism. They had someone as a guide with them first of all, and they said all they did was party. Well, a country is more than just partying. You also had a tour guide, sorry, with you. Where I traveled back, I didn't have a tour guide, and I had a few experiences that were sort of, shocking there to me, which I think that any visitor, even, experiencing what others have reported and myself what I've experienced, I know they want to promote tourism, but the truth of the matter is you have to face it, because many tourists would not want to come back after experiencing these things. You have to face reality and come to terms with it sometimes to overcome it. Anyways, I'm out of here. I just wanted to respond to those comments to me. So anyways, like, subscribe. You know what? What I really want to know is how you feel about it.